Ciao ragazzi, il tour di Chiamarsi Bomber e BKT, title sponsor della serie BKT, alla scoperta delle storie di alcuni dei calciatori che hanno vinto il titolo di MVP per il maggior numero di volte, inizia da Palermo. Non poteva essere altrimenti perché qui gioca il calciatore che vanta il maggior numero di titoli vinti, un attaccante finlandese che è diventato Doge a Venezia e sta conquistando Palermo a suon di gol. Io vado a incontrare Joel Pohjanpalo, voi iscrivetevi al canale e attivate la campanella perché il viaggio alla scoperta degli MVP della serie BKT è appena iniziato. Ciao amici di Chiamarsi Bomber, siamo qui, è arrivato da Doge, ma è diventato immediatamente un vichingo. Joel Pohjanpalo. Joel, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
How are you?
All good, all good. It's had a few days off. I visited my old club in Venice. Saw the important match against Monza. The guys they won 1-0, and now the concentration goes back to Palermo and for the Monday's match.
I want to talk you through your new chapter. You started a new adventure on your career. Why Palermo, and how did you feel when you arrived and you saw all these people welcoming you?
Yeah, of course, Palermo is a very, very important and historic club in Italy, and Palermo always has this special feeling in Italy. And of course, when they first contacted me and told the plans and the ideas for the future, I was very, very, very excited, and it was quite easy at the end of the day to say yes to Palermo. Of course, everybody knows what kind of a special relationship I had in Venice, but at the end of the day, this was an opportunity that I could not pass on, and I'm very happy that we found our agreement, and obviously the start has been very good, and coming back to the first days when I was in Palermo, and obviously the welcoming from the fans, and when everybody was at the stadium, and it was incredible to see what kind of a welcome the whole city and the community gave me.
You started strong, 9 goals in 9 appearances. Do you feel any pressure from this welcome? You want to deliver immediately? I would say that you were immediately able to do so. But what's the ambition with the club?
Yeah, of course, obviously, everybody knows that when you come into a new club and you come with an important contract, there is always expectations. And as a player, you always want to deliver as fast as possible. And especially in the winter market, it's never that easy because you're entering to a club that already has played together for 6 months. But I have to give a big thank you for all the people who are working for the club, and especially my teammates on the pitch that have took me in very well and directly realized where my strengths are on the pitch. And obviously 9 games and 9 goals and 2 assists it's a dream start. I could have never even dreamed of that, but when the club is playing like this and the support is around me, then the results can be very, very good, and I hope we can continue like this and arrive best possible way to the playoffs. And as everybody knows, for Palermo, there's always only one goal back to Serie A.
Let's go back for a second. I started to do this travel with Chiamarsi Bomber because obviously we are curious to know the story of players who won the most, the MVP for the Serie BKT. I will start from the dreams when you were young. Football has always been your priority, or you had also other dreams?
Yeah, of course. Growing up as a kid, being a professional footballer was always the dream. But I also know the realities of life, and especially coming from Finland and knowing how difficult it is, that there was also some other plans that if I would never make it out of it. Obviously, Finland is a very, very small country, and coming out of the ranks from there and come to play for an important club like Palermo in Italy, it's not that easy. And I was, even with a young age, I always was very, very clear that that's the goal and that's the dream. But there's always let's say a plan B with the educational level. But quite quickly, when I was younger, I realized that there is the chance that if I work hard enough, that I can make those dreams come true. And let's say that always you need a little bit of luck in your career. And I remember it was my second official game for Helsinki, who is by far the most successful club in Finland, and recent years has been multiple times playing in European competitions. And it was the first game of the season, and I started, and I scored a hat-trick in 2 minutes and 42 seconds. And obviously, when you score a hat-trick like that at the age of 17, all the doors are quite open after that. And it's the small things, and when you get the chance to use it as best as possible. And people can always say it's luck or no luck, but for some weird reason, always the big names, they somehow seem to always have the luck on their side.
I would say that you are a special feeling with the hat-trick. You scored one here in Palermo recently when you made your debut at the Bayer Arena, if I'm not mistaken, against Hamburg. You scored an hat-trick. What do you think when you're on the pitch? Because I feel like, okay, there is someone who stops, but you are always focused.
No, it's as a striker, it's some sort of a responsibility that I feel for all the strikers and for the players in this position, that when you score goals, you want to get more and more and more. And of course, you know that when you score the first one, it always gives you that little bit extra boost of self-confidence. And it's always, for me, it's that when you enter the pitch, do you play 15 minutes or do you play 90 minutes? But every minute you try to help the team in the best possible way. And in black and white, striker is a position where you need to score goals. This is the stuff that is expected from you the most, and I try to deliver as best as possible to my abilities.
When you debuted in the Champions League in 2012, what were you feeling? It's where you realize, okay, now I'm gonna be a professional footballer, this is gonna be my career?
I think it happened before that, but of course that was a dream come true for a little boy from Finland. There hasn't been, outside of the squad from Helsinki who played the Champions League, there hasn't been many players from Finland who has entered the pitch in the Champions League, and hearing the hymn and entering the pitch, and this is of course an incredible feeling. And unfortunately, until now, it's only 2 games in the Champions League, but you never know what will happen in the future.
You never know. In the meantime, there was a lot of Germany. I wanted to ask you, since you spent a lot of season playing there, what are the main differences you notice with Italy, and how Germany has helped you to become a better player?
The German football is much more faster, let's say that. In Italy, the clubs, they love to have the control of the game, and tactically the teams are very, very disciplined. I think everybody knows as Italian football that the teams are tactically very well organized, and they are very good at defending and positioning themselves on the pitch. And in Germany, they trust the speed and they trust the counter-attacks a lot. And there comes a lot of counter to counter, and there's a lot of running compared to Italy. And I would say that's the main difference between the football aspect between Italy and Germany. It's just a different style of playing. Obviously, the quality is the same and as high as in Italy in Bundesliga, and they are very well compared. But it's just a different approach to the way of playing.
And when you heard the rumor for the first time, there was an opportunity to go and play in Italy. How did you react? Were you curious to change and try something new?
Yeah, of course. To be fair, when I was younger, I actually never really thought about playing in Italy. There used to be a lot of younger players here from Finland, and they often had a lot of problems with the clubs, and they really never made it out and became properly professional in Italy. And there's only few examples. Perparim, who has played, I think he has more than 300 games in Serie A, which is one of the most foreign player. And obviously you have Eremenko is another one who played in Udine. But regardless, those two, there's not many other guys. And of course, then when the opportunity came to play for Venice, and helped a lot that my best man from my wedding, Ronan, the goalkeeper, he was already playing for them, and obviously he was very convincing of that I should come and play with you in Venice.
Obviously, as you know, the Serie BKT is called the Campionato degli Italiani, the League of Italian, and you moved from Germany, and you had the chance to live in Venice and now in Palermo, that are 2 of the most beautiful cities we have here in Italy. how it was. I don't know if you decided to live in Düsseldorf or you were brave enough to live in Leverkusen, but how it was to switch from Germany to Italy in matter of lifestyle.
I lived in Düsseldorf, and obviously my wife is also from there, and of course I was on a loan for Düsseldorf for 2 seasons, so the natural change from Düsseldorf to Leverkusen was quite easy. But of course it's a different lifestyle between Italy and Germany, and especially when you're here in the south in Palermo, that's definitely a different way of living, and it's much more emotional, and it's much more, the rhythm of life is much more relaxed, let's say that. But I've always been very good at adapting to a new environment that I have played for. Even in Turkey, I enjoyed my time, and in Berlin and Hamburg, which are completely different cities compared to Düsseldorf. And now living in Italy, living first in a very unique setup in Venice, in the middle of the lagoon, without any cars, and always have to walk, take the boat. It's a very unique lifestyle, and I really enjoyed it. And now, of course, living in the south, in the heart of Sicily, it's of course incredible to experience these things also outside of football, because in the end of the day, yes, it's the game, and I love to do it, but there's also a lot of other aspects in life that I enjoy.
Yeah, that are important. And in Palermo, you decide to live in the city center. And how do you find it? The constant contact with the fans that are really
warm
here.
I've always been a person who likes to live in the city center. Doesn't matter which city I have played for, and of course it's let's say that the fans are very emotional and very enthusiastic, and it's happy to see them on the streets and share the emotions with them. And I think it's an important part for players and for the clubs to have this connection with the fans, because without the fans, the clubs are nothing, and they are the ones that bring the support to the pitch and to the stadium, and they are the 12th player for us, especially when we're playing at home. And it's for me, it's always been very important to be close to them and try to share not only the good things, but also when things are not going well. And it's important to face them and have that interaction. Sometimes it might be negative, but that's part of the game, and it's part of the world we're living in. And this is not try to hide it from, and try to face it and have the discussion, and then we move on and we go for the next weekend and try to get the 3 points then.
You were able to score 22 goals, if I'm not mistaken, last season with Venezia jersey, and you were obviously an important part of the success of your former team. If I ask you to pick one single memory of your chapter with Venice, what it would be?
One memory. Okay, if we take the moment when we went off, obviously going up in Serie A is an incredible thing, and one of those that still brings like the emotions to you when you have worked your whole year for that, and you achieve that goal that you set before the season. But outside of this, if I could choose one moment, I would say it's the moment after the Spezia game, when we were sitting in a locker room when we lost the chance to go up. And this, seeing all the players, obviously I was the captain on the pitch, and seeing all the players, somebody crying, somebody shouting, somebody being completely looking into the darkness, and all the different emotions and all the different ways that players were reacting to the reality that now we need to play the playoffs. And then 5-10 minutes later, that how everybody swapped that feeling to that, okay, like we will then go up together. And I think this is probably one of the best feelings I had.
Joel, now it's several years you're in Italy, and you know how deep is the relationship between Italians and food. Did you try food in Venice? Did you try food in Palermo? I'm not gonna ask you to pick one cuisine. I don't want to cause you any trouble. There is one kind of food that you love in particular.
That's a very difficult question, because obviously you can't really put Italian food in one basket. It's Italian food that every region in Italy has their own kitchen, and you can say Venetian food, you can say Sicilian, or
one dish from Venice, one dish from Palermo.
But if you do that, then of course Arangina from Sicily is very clear.
Yes,
very clear. And if you go to Venice, then I would say carpaccio.
Okay, interesting. If you need to pick one spot in the city in Venice and one spot in Palermo, what it would be? If you already discovered your favorite
Yeah,
spot in
it's
Palermo.
it's in Palermo. It's difficult to say yet because I have been so little, so I don't want to yet disclose that spot because I haven't seen enough to give an honest answer to that. But in Venice, it's I would say it's 100%. There's one hotel and a restaurant in the Gran Canal next to Rialto. It's called Venice. And they have a terrace right on top of the canal, and the sun comes perfectly there always every evening. And sitting on this terrace after a game when you have won and scored, it's life does not get better than that.
Another thing really interesting about Italian people is the relationship with fantacalcio or fantasy football. If you open your DM, do you know that for many of them you're an idol? And how's your relationship with
Let's say that there's a lot of disappointing messages after the transfer. But yeah, I know they are very passionate about it, and I remember when of course when we went up and then met the people in the streets after that, and in the year in the Serie A, the 6 months that I was with Venice, it's people are very passionate about fantacalcio. I have realized that, and still this day when I meet people in the streets, people always come to me like, I had you in Fanta, and
yeah, disappointment.
Hopefully next year again.
Fingers crossed. Did you have the chance to learn any particular sentence in the dialect in Venice and also in Palermo?
Yeah, in 2 videos we already been shouting Issa. Obviously, this is I learned that one. But in a Venetian dialogue, I have to say I don't remember anything particular that I would have learned. But from Palermo, Issa is for sure.
Is there any Finnish word instead that you would love to teach to Italian with a special meaning for you?
There is actually one very special word in Finnish that actually has no translation in almost any language in the world, which is called sisu. I think if you Google it, you can find like an English explanation. It's very long. It's like it's like a combination of hard work and not giving up and etc. and stuff like this, and it's all technically pressed into one word, which is called sisu. It's quite famous worldwide, and I think this is the word that you could easily integrate.
Since you mention it, I'm curious about one thing, because when I was reading about you, I saw that when you were young, your idol was Michael Owen. Is that true? And
yeah, it is.
How did you pick Michael Owen? If I look at you, you're a big guy. So.
Oh yeah, we are completely different. I did not, the way he was playing football would not suit me at all. But my dad is a huge Liverpool fan. And obviously when he was a Liverpool fan, have to be a Liverpool. Yeah. There was no other choice, and obviously Premier League was always the league that was coming from the TV, especially.
For Javild Mannen?
No, Sami Hyypiä was playing in
Liverpool,
and he was the vice captain for them.
Yeah.
But Premier League has always been obviously the highly watched league all around the world, and especially in the early 2000s, of course, obviously almost only leagues that you could watch from the TV. And my dad was a huge Liverpool fan, and I was a Liverpool fan, and Michael Owen was the young #1 striker who won the Ballon d'Or, so you can put the pieces together.
Apart from the sisu, is there any advice that you would like to give to a children who start playing football and dream to become a professional footballer?
I think it's actually there's 2 things. The one thing is that remember to work hard. And obviously it's always the extra work that you do, not the stuff that you do on the pitch with the team. It's all the stuff that you do by yourself when nobody else is there. This is the one thing. And the other thing is that when you're young, you don't have to be the best yet. It doesn't matter how good you are at 12 or 13 or 10 or 15. It doesn't matter. It's to have the passion for the game and understanding for it, and trying to develop yourself the best way possible, because the goal obviously for these guys is obviously become professional, and nobody cares how good you were in 15. It's about when you become professional and then try to make yourself better and better every day, and not get sometimes frustrated if you make mistakes. I'd rather be the worst player on the pitch, but I tried my everything and not try to hide on the pitch, and try to make a difference in the game.
We can obviously tell it from your game style, but so far you are good, and you were able to win. You are the only player who were able to win 2 MVP award in a row for the Serie BKT. How's your relationship with the individual awards?
Of course, there are good recognitions, of course, and winning the top scorer or winning the best player of the best player of the month and so on. Of course, they're nice reminders, but in the end of the day, all these individual awards, they come meaningful if the team is successful. And especially, of course, I highly rate the individual awards from last season when we achieved the yearly goal for Venice, and all these awards, they become much more meaningful than when you achieve the goal with everybody together. And I think this is the best way to describe my own relationship to them.
Is there anything that you dream and you would love to achieve?
I love to play Serie A with Palermo. That's for sure.
Thank you very much, Joel.
Thank you.
Joel Pohjanpalo, il nuovo vichingo di Palermo e il nuovo idolo dei tifosi rosanero. Ciao! Il nostro viaggio alla scoperta dei migliori MVP della Serie BKT continua. Abbiamo salutato Joel, adesso vado a prendere l'aereo e ci vediamo alla prossima. Ciao!